And what about the international dimension? Now, let's think about Starlink. Starlink is obviously a very, very good internet service. It's sought after all over the world. It's critical to the front line in Ukraine. It has also had more contracts coming its way, and there is some evidence that companies are allowing access to it because they want to be close to the Trump administration and send the right signal. So Bloomberg broke news today that the South African government is working around the rules on black ownership in order to allow Starlink in, and that is being done on the eve of the visit that President Ramaphosa is going to make to the White House. Do you recognize that as a conflict of interest?
No, of course not. First of all, you should be questioning why are there racist laws in South Africa? That's the first problem. That's what you should be attacking. It's improper for there to be racist laws in South Africa. The whole idea with what Nelson Mandela, who was a great man, proposed was that all races should be on an equal footing in South Africa. That's the right thing to do, not to replace one set of racist laws with another set of racist laws, which is utterly wrong and improper. So that's the deal, that all races should be treated equally, and there should be no preference given to one or the other. Whereas there are now 140 laws in South Africa that give that basically give strong preference to if you're a black South African, and not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks like that's about. Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to bring.
Yes or no?
Those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not for me.
Laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government work though and the amount of savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to.
Elon Musk claimed that South Africa is discriminating against him because he's white. He says BEE laws block Starlink from launching in South Africa. And then he invoked Nelson Mandela. Yes, Mandela. Let's clear this up because this is dangerous, misleading, and frankly disrespectful to South Africa's democratic project. So BEE, which stands for Black Economic Empowerment, it's not about punishing white people. It's about creating economic opportunities for Black South Africans and other minority groups in South Africa who were systematically excluded under apartheid system in South Africa. It's about equity, not revenge. Companies are scored on ownership, skills development, and social responsibility. They aren't banned from being white or from hiring white. They're encouraged to be inclusive. There are not 142 laws targeting white people. That number is invented by white nationalist influencers and recycled on social media, and we know now it's been propagated by Elon Musk using his AI machine, which also exposed him for his propaganda machine. If you can't name even 5, it's probably not real. If you ask them, name them, they wouldn't even name 5 of them because it's not real. Okay? BEE is one policy, and it's legal under South Africa's constitution and international human rights standards. So here's what makes this even more absurd. Elon Musk never applied for Starlink to operate in South Africa.
But one thing we should also notice that Starlink has not even applied for a license in South Africa yet. They just rejected ICASA's regulatory authority to impose that there must be a 30% local stake ownership. So it shows you the arrogance, it shows you the level of disrespect And we expect Cyril Ramaphosa to be disrespected there in the United States of America, and his positivity is going to prove meaningless. And he must not use that visit to renegotiate local legislation of South Africa. He doesn't have the mandate to do so. He doesn't have the power to do so. So the assurances he's made to Starlink, the assurances he might be making relates to the NHI, to the Bella Act, to the Expropriation Act, are meaningless because he doesn't have the powers to do so. And we will take legal action if he reverses any laws at the behest of Donald Trump's administration.
Despite saying that he's been rejected because of his race. Right now, I'm saying to you, according to the regulator ICASA, Elon Musk has never applied for Starlink to operate in South Africa. No paperwork, no engagement, just post on X. Outrage, posts that outrage people on X. That's it, folks. Just Twitter outrage or X outrage, and that's it. He has never formally applied for Starlink to operate in South Africa. Yet, he is saying he's been declined to operate in South Africa due to his race. And you could also ask, why are the media not asking him, when did he apply? You all media out there, could you ask the right question? Have you applied? What did the ICASA, the regulator, say about your application? Because we now know he has never applied for Starlink to operate in South Africa. Let that sink in. Just think about that. But he's been saying on X, on even a multiple interview, even now, that he actually applied. He's been discriminated against because he's white. It's more like those white Afrikaners saying they're persecuted, but it's no evidence they've ever experienced any crime. Not to minimize the crime, but we need to call it what the facts are. What facts are not. That they've never experienced any crimes according to the data. They've never reported one. So we could assume that they never experienced any. Because if they had, there would be some records of it. All right? So that is the same thing. These people are sick in my view. I feel like they're sick. They need to go and consult a psychologist. That's what I think. Something's not right here. I don't think you can make these outrageous lies and you think people aren't going to look for evidence, at least. It's outrageous to me. Reports say Starlink might be granted special exemption to bypass BE. The EFF spokesperson has said they'll take that to court. And they're right. These equity laws aren't optional. They are law. Musk doesn't get a billionaire pass just because he doesn't like the rules. This isn't white genocide. It's not reverse apartheid. It's billionaire using his platform, his billionaire status, to undermine justice while pretending to be a victim. And South Africans and all of us should say, no thanks, Elon. We've heard this story before. Now, here is where it gets really offensive. Musk said this isn't what Nelson Mandela would have wanted. But Mandela supported BEE. He said reconciliation must be paired with restitution. Invoking him to protect billionaires' business interests is not free speech. It's historically distortion. He's really distorting the history here. And we've seen with all of these AfriForum, Ernest Roots, and with the other one, the person from the Solidarity, all this far-right fascist group in South Africa, distorting this history to protect his business interest. But we know it's not about business interest because he has not applied. So I don't even think we should even discussing this because he has not applied. He has not applied for it. And Ramaphosa is not in any position to give him any pass because Ramaphosa doesn't make the laws. The laws are made by the parliament in South Africa. For that to happen, the laws need to be repealed by the parliament, not by Ramaphosa. So Ramaphosa is meeting, Donald Trump. But there's some people thought that on social media, even other commentator, that he needs to really make it very clear that there is no white genocide in South Africa. He knows that. I'm telling you, Donald J. Trump knows that. He knows very well there are no white genocide in South Africa. So Ramaphosa doesn't have to stress this to him. Doesn't have to make Donald Trump happy. Because there is none. There's no white genocide in South Africa. So, and he knows there's none. Okay? And I think this is something that they made to think that South Africa would then drop the ICJ case against Israel. And South Africa has said no, they're not going to drop the case against Israel. So because South Africa has said no, the case shall continue at ICJ against Israel to allege the crime of genocide against the Palestinian people. So they've tried so many stuff, so many sticks to put along the way for South Africa to drop this case, all right? But they know there's no white genocide in South Africa. Oh yeah, they know. So for all of you who are out there talking about, he needs to make very clear that there's no white genocide in South Africa. I'm telling you, they know. He knows. The rest of the world knows. This is, another thing to allege something is there that's not there, to try and gain some support for something that doesn't exist. We've been to this before, all right? Okay, there is no such thing in South Africa as white people, white Afrikaner genocide. There is crime, high crime, but it affects all community. And because of apartheid that excluded other communities, including black people, crime tends to be really concentrated in low community in South Africa, poor community, low black community, which is consistent with how we know the equity, determinants of crime and determinants of health. So there aren't the apartheid system itself today. It's the one structural mechanism of apartheid still there in South Africa. It is the one that determines who becomes the victim of crime. But anyway, don't believe me, go to the source of the data, the primary source, not what these folks are telling you, because of this propaganda machine and an agenda they're trying to put out there. So, no. All right, so this meeting is going to happen. I'll probably watch today about, between Donald Trump and Ramaphosa. People are already predicting will be Zelensky scenario. But I don't know. I don't think so, because Ramaphosa is one of the person who just doesn't speak much. That's why we call him Cupcake. That's his nickname. Anyway, South Africa, like Australia, we give politicians nicknames. His nickname is Cupcake. I'll probably tell you next time why his nickname is Cupcake. Ramaphosa's nickname is Cupcake. Alright, thank you guys for listening. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Until we meet again. We're going to discuss the Ramaphosa and Donald Trump's meeting, if there's anything of interest. If it's not interesting, nothing to discuss, folks. All right, thank you. Bye.